Welcome back to the Deep Dive. This is where we take a stack of your sources and really try to pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge or insight.
That's the goal.
Today, we're diving into something really quite mind-bending. It's a set of excerpts from a work called Ghosted.pdf.
Yeah, get ready for this one.
It really twists and turns, I think, challenges our ideas about time, connection, maybe even what it means to be, truly alive.
Absolutely. Our mission today, really, is to unpack this story of an impossible connection. We're talking 20 years apart.
20 years.
Yeah. And we'll look at the emotional side, the practical realities for these two people caught in this extraordinary glitch.
A glitch in reality.
Pretty much. We'll explore how they navigate grief, identity, this huge mystery, uncovering some surprising truths about their families, too, and maybe reality itself.
Lots of aha moments.
I think so. And maybe a few shivers along the way.
Okay, let's unpack this initial glitch then. Where does it start?
Well, we begin with Ariel. She's 16. It's 2019, and she's grappling with a lot.
Right, her mother's recent death, and her father just left.
Exactly. Huge upheaval. And then she starts seeing things, these blue people, or teleghosts, as she calls them.
Okay, so naturally she's worried, thinking maybe it's...
Her mental health. Yeah, stress. She tries to convince herself it's just that. But these figures, they're persistent. They don't just go away.
And at the same time, but 20 years earlier.
Right. Simultaneously, we meet Joe, a boy from 1999. And Joe's caught in this loop.
The same day, over and over.
March 11th, 1999. Again and again. And he starts to realize, it's horrifying. He starts to realize he's dead or missing.
How does he figure that out?
He's leaving notes for himself. Things like, I'm dead, it is 2019, every day is this day. And crucially, Ariel from the future in cupboard at Beeview. Meet after school.
Wow, so he knows about Ariel somehow. And the year.
It seems so. That note is his lifeline, his anchor to something else.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting, right? Their paths cross.
I do, in this tiny secret room in the Beachview Mall.
A place that exists in both 1999 and 2019.
Apparently, yeah. Joe sees Ariel first in a dream, actually. Then he finds her in this little cupboard room.
And then they can. See each other? Hear each other?
Yes. Despite the 20 years between them, Joe is completely shocked when Ariel tells him it's 2019. He's like, it's 1999. I thought that was modern.
Huh. Yeah, I bet. But here's the kicker.
They can't touch.
Right. He describes her hand going right through him, feeling
fizzy and cold.
Yeah.
That's what she feels. He feels nothing at all.
So this glitch, this impossibility, it just crashes into their lives.
Absolutely. And it forces them immediately to question everything. For Ariel, it kind of shifts things. It's not her madness anymore. It's something external, something impossible happening to her.
Okay, yeah. She's not the ghost.
Exactly. And for Joe, well, it's the brutal confirmation that he doesn't exist in the present. He's trapped in this repeating past, a ghost in his own time almost.
So what does this all mean for them? Let's zoom into Ariel's world first. 2019. What's her life like beyond the ghosts?
Well, she's living with her older sister, Sasha.
Who's pregnant.
Right. With a boy, who they later name Raphael Joseph. And Ariel's kind of taken on this caregiver role, cooking healthy stuff like their mom's vegetable chili, trying to manage things.
Trying to prove she can cope, maybe.
Probably.
Yeah.
We also meet her best friend, Izzy. And her ex-boyfriend, Jack Lockett, is still around, still seems interested.
And there's her French teacher, Miss Duke. You mentioned her earlier.
Yes. Ariel notes she's just the tiniest bit like my mom might have been if she'd been able to grow old, which feels significant somehow.
Okay. And Joe's world. His repeating day in 1999.
It gives us a snapshot. He lives with his dad, Alex Brown.
A nursery worker, described as always happy.
Yeah, at a place called Bouncers. And his brother, Gus. His mom, Claire, is away, supposedly on a yoga course.
School life, friends, crushes.
Typical teenage stuff, yeah. His best friend is Troy Henry. There's a story about a lost football trophy there. Another friend, Lucas Ingleby, who Joe feels he's been awful to. And a crush on a girl named Jemima. He's also dreading this French exchange trip to Saint Etienne. Staying with a pen pal, Enzo, he even tries faking being sick to get out of it.
Right, so normal teen anxieties, but frozen in time.
Exactly. Now, when you dive deep into these separate worlds, you find these incredible overlaps.
Okay, like what?
Well, Ariel ends up babysitting. And guess whose kids?
Joe's brothers.
Bunts Gus's.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Gus's daughters, Zara and Coco. Joe's nieces in 2019.
No way.
Yeah. And Ariel is just stunned by how much Zara looks like Joe. She realizes, Joe was right there in her, like a piece of him carried on.
Wow. Okay, that's one connection. But you mentioned Miss Duke.
Ah, yes. This is the jaw-dropping one. Ariel figures out that her French teacher, Miss Duke, is married to Joe's dad, Jasper Simpson, in 2019.
Wait, Joe's dad? Not Alex Brown? Sorry, yes, slip of the tongue there. It's complicated. Ariel's teacher, Florence Duke, seemed to have been Joe's teacher, Mrs. DuPont, back in 1999. Changed her name after divorce, kept it after marrying. Well, we need to clarify who Jasper Simpson is in relation to Joe. The text says Mrs. Duke is married to him in 2019. Let's assume for now Joe's dad from 1999 is Alex Brown. The connection is Mrs. Duke DuPont, bridging the timelines.
Okay, so his old teacher is now somehow connected to his family sphere 20 years later. That's intricate.
Very. It raises all sorts of questions about how lives intertwine across time, doesn't it? And speaking of connections, Joe's reunion with his mom, Claire. That's huge.
He thought she was gone for decades.
He believed she'd been in India for 20 years. Turns out she was just in Reading for that short yoga course back in 1999. His trapped state completely distorted his perception of her absence.
So finding that out must have been
immense relief, yeah. The text says he's positively glowing after reconnecting. It really highlights the emotional toll of thinking he was abandoned for all that time.
Okay, so armed with this connection, Ariel becomes a kind of detective.
A ghost detective, yeah. She really embraces it. She's staking out Joe's old house, talking to security guards at Beachview Mall, searching online, trying to piece together what happened to him.
And Joe's helping from his side, trying to remember details.
Desperately, yeah. Trying to recall anything specific about that repeating day, March 11th. They even find out about other glitching people.
Oh, like who?
There's Laura, a 52-year-old woman stuck on the same train journey. Yeah. And another ghost, Leo Chatterjee, down in Cornwall.
Do they want to be found? Or fixed?
Well, Laura, interestingly, she says she doesn't want her situation solved. She's afraid of oblivion. Or hell, even.
Wow. So being stuck is preferable to the unknown.
For her, maybe. It shows the psychological weight of it all. But the real turning point for Joe and Ariel comes later.
What happened?
Joe's best friend from 1999, Troy Henry. He can see Joe, too.
Troy can see him. In 2019...
Yes. Ariel brings them together, facilitates it. Troy moved to France, even named his son Joseph. He's panicked at first, understandably, but then he's absolutely determined to help find out what happened to his friend.
That must have been huge for Joe. Proof he wasn't just...
Ariel's hallucination. Exactly. It validates his existence to someone else from his own time. Troy admits he was angry at first, though. Angry at Ariel and Lucas for raking up what happened like it was some kind of game.
Shows how deep the wound still was for him.
Definitely. The impact was long-lasting.
So the final pieces, they fall into place back at the mall, in that secret room.
That's right. Troy gets his dad, Pete and Henry, involved. He works in building maintenance there.
Okay.
And Pete discovers these hollow panels in the wall of the secret room. Inside, they find Joe's school bag.
His bag, after 20 years.
And his football trophy. The one he stole from Troy.
Oh, man.
And then the really grim discovery. Joe's bones are inside the wall.
No.
Yeah.
So he was murdered.
Yeah, it seems so. And this is where it gets incredibly dark. Joe finally confronts that angry man he keeps seeing at the mall in his loop.
And who is it?
It's his own father, Alex Brown, the always happy nursery worker.
His dad killed him. Why?
His dad confesses he'd accidentally killed a patient. Covered it up. And Joe must have found out or suspected something. Joe threatened to call the police.
So his dad silenced him. Permanently.
That's the horrifying truth of it. Murdered him and hid his body in the wall of that secret room.
That's devastating. For Joe, obviously, but for Ariel, too. And the whole family.
Absolutely. It explains some of the dad's earlier behavior mentioned in the text, like punching walls. Maybe that always happy thing was a complete mask. It's a chilling end to the mystery.
But it brings closure, I suppose. For Gus, his brother.
It does. The text mentions Gus and his fiancée, Abby, can finally plan their wedding. They have an answer after 20 years.
So, with the truth out, what happens to Joe?
He faces his own end, his own moving on. He has this final conversation with Ariel and Troy.
What does he say?
He expresses relief it wasn't Troy who killed him. He apologizes again for the trophy. I do one stupid thing, and it haunts me for eternity.
Poignant.
Yeah. He hopes he might go somewhere now. Maybe see Ariel's mom. Suggests finding some kind of peace.
And then he just vanishes. The loop is broken.
Seems like it. With the mystery solved, his purpose there is fulfilled. Maybe. He's finally free.
And Ariel, how does this leave her?
Her life moves on, but she's changed, obviously. She goes to Joe's funeral, sees his family finding peace. That helps her.
And her sister has the baby.
Yes. Sashi gives birth to Raphael Joseph. The middle name is for Joe. A nice touch.
A connection that remains.
Exactly. And Ariel makes this conscious choice to live in the real world. She focuses on her exams, her sister, her nephew. She even turns down a potential relationship.
Why?
She realizes she can't be hopelessly in love with a ghost. She's to ground herself in her present, her reality.
That's a powerful message. Moving on from grief, even impossible love.
Very much so. Choosing the tangible.
Is that the end of the weirdness for Ariel?
Not quite. Just as she feels like she's settling back into normal life, boom, someone new appears.
Another ghost.
A woman named Mia. She can also pass through Ariel, like Joe couldn't, maybe from a different dimension, or the future. She calls Ariel a ghost detective.
Uh-oh.
And asks for her help with a tiny, massive, huge problem. So it suggests Ariel's unique abilities. Her role is this bridge. It's not over.
Her story continues, perhaps.
It seems implied. But then, the source material takes this really abrupt, almost jarring turn.
How so?
We get this snippet, like from a different narrative entirely. It's a newsflash on someone's phone. December 2019.
Okay. About what?
It's a warning. An accelerated atmospheric shift, thawing permafrost, releasing carbon dioxide. And get this, a 70% chance of human extinction by the following September.
Well, that's completely out of left field.
Totally. The character reading it says her mom initially dismissed it as laughable, but now it's suddenly the only thing to worry about.
So we go from this deeply personal ghost story and murder mystery
to an imminent global catastrophe. It forces you to ask, what if the glitch wasn't just Joe and Ariel? What if reality itself is starting to unravel on a much bigger scale?
From a personal haunting to a planetary one.
Exactly. The fragility of existence, not just for one boy trapped in time, but for everyone.
Wow. Okay. This deep dive through Ghosted has certainly taken us on quite a ride.
Definitely. From personal tragedy, that intimate haunting, the shocking resolution, and then this sudden pivot to a global existential threat.
It really speaks to the power of human connection, doesn't it? That search for truth, but also these bigger unfolding mysteries of existence itself.
It does.
Yeah.
Joe and Ariel's story shows how even within contained personal mysteries, the universe might be whispering about much larger, maybe more unsettling secrets.
Secrets about what it means to be alive or real.
Especially when the fundamental rules, time, connection, even the air we breathe can suddenly change so drastically. What is real then?
Something to think about. We'll leave you with that thought and see you next time for another deep dive.